Hello students, in this round of video lecture we will be discussing a very interesting political philosopher Niccolo Machiavelli. But before discussing the contents of Niccolo Machiavelli's book, let me ask you some question. There are two lines which are in the form of adages. If I ask you, to what extent do you think that the lines are correct? First line is, means justifies the end, which was very popular as it was said by Mahatma Gandhi. That is, purity of means can lead you to purity of ends. And the second is just reverse of this, that is, end justifies the means. That is, you have to be successful no matter if you adopt a pious path or a virtuous path or a path which is taken by those people who are sinister in their designs. So Machiavelli was of the view that success matters, and with regards to a state, it is something which is very much important. So a state must succeed. A state cannot afford to fail. So the ultimate aim of the state is to succeed at any cost. It doesn't matter whether the means are pure or impure. What matters is only the end. Due to his this sinister reputation uh, in the political sphere, especially in the annals of political theory, Machiavelli had been criticized a lot by so many people, such as, let us understand that he was criticized by as a murderer Machiavelli by William Shakespeare. He used to call him uh, an inventor of stratagems, and he also used to call him as a damned Machiavelli who holds candle to the devil himself. So he referred Machiavelli as a devil, and he also mentioned Machiavelli as an old Nick after Machiavelli's first name. So in the Elizabethan stage, Machiavelli was regarded by these English writers and the poets and the dramatists as a professional inventor of usurpers and tyrants, and therefore Machiavellism, it was symbolized with the term villain or villainy. But apart from all these criticisms, Machiavelli had been quite inclined in the use of, or he was actually inclined to use the deception, cruelty, force, violence, and the like for achieving the desired political ends. Interestingly, Machiavelli, apart from his share of criticism or share of his critics, he had his own share of admirers too, and these admirers were in form of certain very good historians, very good political philosophers. Spinoza, one of the political philosophers, called him as the friend of people, and he also was of the view that Machiavelli, though he was he has shown the elements of cruelty in his political achieving of political ideals, but as a person he is very amicable and he is very interested in believing that people must lead a good life. Similarly, Montesquieu who gave the theory of separation of powers, he regarded him as a lover of liberty. So, and one more philosopher, that is Rousseau, he projected Machiavelli as a republican and a satirist of tyranny, and described him as a good citizen as well as an honorable man. Voltaire also read the works of Machiavelli very carefully and very systematically, and he was appreciative of the fact that led him to call Machiavelli as an erudite man of genius. So we can see that all the people were not criticizing Machiavelli. Yet another, that is Giovanni, calls him as a champion of democratic government rather than a supporter of despotism. The same view is being reiterated by one more philosopher, Viroli, when he also interpreted Machiavelli as a person who was a defender of republican values such as justice and the concept of common good for all the common man. So here we can understand that Machiavelli had his own share of praise by so many authors and writers. Similarly, if we read Machiavelli, then we understand that he wrote many books, out of which two books are of vital importance for the students of political science as well as for the students of those who are interested in realism. He was not an idealist thinker, he was a realist thinker. He thought in terms of reality, and he laid a foundation of new science of politics. And he was a very keen reader of history. He has faith in history. Machiavelli, who is known for his realism and pragmatism. Pragmatism means practical approach to the understanding of politics. So he was not an idealist, as I have already said. He was a realist who saw everything in terms of reality and went for finding a solution for the problems which is prevailing in politics, especially in his own era, that is in the 15th century. So to begin with, Niccolo Machiavelli, he was born in 1469, 3rd May 1469, and he lived up to 1527. So Machiavelli he was born in Florence, which is in Italy. Florence at that point of time was very much affluent city, and at that point of time the Florence was the Italy was being ruled especially by Lorenzo di Medici, whom Machiavelli regarded him or referred to as Lorenzo the Magnificent, and he was the uncrowned ruler of the entire principality. Florence was not only very rich, economically rich, but it was also, since it was the birthplace of Machiavelli, so Machiavelli loved Florence to a certain extent. Machiavelli's father was a legal practitioner who provided good education to Machiavelli, and Machiavelli was very interested and very well versed in the Latin language, but he did not read Greek and Cicero's humanistic studies, which actually focused on different moral situations with advice on how to move ahead on a virtuous path. So Machiavelli was very inclined to fight against the tyranny and corruption, and he was very having a very scary thought regarding the future of his own motherland, that is Florence. Uh, Machiavelli, at the age of 29, after he completed his studies, he had a chance to join the diplomatic service of Florence, and there he served in the capacity of uh, the diplomat, and not only diplomat, but he had also good insight into the working of politics, especially the politics at that point of time, during his age. And his humanistic training made him a very hard working and very patriotic and uh, uh, a scrupulous person who was very honest to the public, and so he was a very honest public functionary. So Machiavelli was also interested in books which represented history, and he was more inclined towards the life experiences which were the hallmarks of the great people. And he had also maintained a library where these books were kept, and he, after at the end of the day, when he served his job, he used to come to the library and read a lot. Machiavelli, I told you earlier that he was very interested in the realist view of politics, and at the time of Machiavelli, the Florence was not in a good state of affairs. It was experiencing very fragile political stability. The it was the times of Renaissance, and Renaissance was possible in Italy, especially in Florence, because of the wealth. Because as the culture flourished only with affluence, so it also helped in the developing of Renaissance at the time of Machiavelli. Machiavelli, his exposure to the Chancery gave him an opportunity to meet certain influential statesmen of Italy, which included Julius II, one of the most dynamic Renaissance popes, Emperor Maximilian of Germany, as well as King Louis II of France, and Emperor and Cardinal Caesar Borgia, of who was an illegitimate son of Rodrigo Borgia, Pope the Alexander VI. So among them, it was Borgia who left a lasting impression on the minds of Machiavelli, and he was quoted in his Prince. And he has quoted Borgio, that is Borgia, that is the successor to Pope Alexander VI, that a ruler must be ruthless and must be daring so far as his leadership is concerned. Now, Machiavelli wrote very